This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Edna White. I am your host for Keeping It Real on Purpose. And this is the place where we talk to real people in real time, doing real things, all on purpose. And today, our guest is Ruth Heron, who is an author of Career Woman Over 40. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, how do you show up in the world?
I show up because I'm authentic. I am real. I am a very practical person. And the solutions that I put forward are very applicable in a day-to-day life. So I make sure that, what I have experienced, I am sharing with the world, and the things that have worked for me and that I've shared with other people that have worked for them, then that's what I'm putting forward.
Oh, nice. Wonderful. So tell us your story behind Career Woman Over 40.
Yes. So I am from the Caribbean. I'm from Jamaica. I came into the United Kingdom. And basically, when you come into a new country, sometimes you have to step back in order to move forward. And I found that every time I moved forward, one step forward, two steps backward. No matter what kind of qualifications you had or how hard you worked, you still had to kind of fight for your place at the table, basically. My work is learning and development and human resources. And then, I've qualified as a coach. But the more I moved forward with my career, you got to a place where it got to a ceiling and it kind of stopped. And that was a kind of over 40 bit where I realized that I wasn't alone. And I started to work through things that worked for me. And I also started to coach other women in a similar position. Hence, I've put it all down on paper.
Okay. All right. So I was reading through the book, and of course, I am over 40.
Yes.
And thank you for that, giving me a boost. Thank you very much. I like that. And I wanted to talk about the lessons, and your question was, if I could start all over again, what would I do the same? And then you also said, what would I do differently?
Yes.
What would I do more of? What would I do less of? Explain how that process works with the lessons.
With the lessons. Yes. So I believe in reflection. I believe in learning to improve. I believe that you can take your what you have learned and you can either not do that again because that did not work for you, or it caused a negative experience for you. But you can also take something that you have learned and you can expand on that because it's become a strength, and you can make that into more of a productive and positive experience. So when I was thinking through and reflecting, I looked at what I could start doing more of, what I could stop doing because it wasn't beneficial to me, what I could continue to do because it was beneficial. So that's how my thinking took place.
Okay. And you said that you coach women, right?
I do, yes.
Yes. Okay. So if you're coaching women who are stuck at the career, as a woman in the career, how do you, what's the first step that you give them to kind of get unstuck in their career?
To become unstuck. So I believe that doing a bit of self-analysis and diagnostics comes first, helping the woman to find out exactly where they are in their progress, what exactly is making them stuck, and how have they got to that place. So understanding their journey, and helping them to understand what has been their blockers, where have they benefited from their experiences, and doing a bit of diagnostics before moving forward into looking at solutions.
Right. Okay. And I see that you, one of my favorite things to talk about to my clients is, or to prospective clients, is investing in yourself.
Yes.
We don't do that enough. So
No.
talk about that from the point of view for career women over 40.
Yes. So it's understanding what it is that they might need, whether it is coaching, whether they need to be mentored. So investment doesn't necessarily have to be monetary, but it also includes time. It's also tapping into people that they could benefit from, they could learn from. So it's a combination of things that I feel that, they could look at and tap into. And from that combination, whether it be monetary, time, resources, other people, then a combination of that can bring them to the place where they have that investment.
Okay. All right, that's good. It's good stuff. And I see you throughout your book, you talk about self-reflection a lot and how that's so important to be, to do all the things. So if I'm going to tips here, and you say you need to better understand yourself and make that what makes you happy, what makes you self-fulfilled, and what makes you feel valued. Very easily, pen and paper, do a mind map and figure that out. So what does that look like, the instruction itself, for us to visually, say it the way that we could see it?
Yeah, so when you're looking at a mind map, you're looking at, putting things down on paper that, so you look at your strengths. A very simple SWOT analysis works well in looking at your strengths as an individual. Oftentimes you use the SWOT analysis for programs and projects, and we don't necessarily use it on ourselves as individuals.
No, we don't. No.
So you outline your strengths, you outline the things that work for you and have served your best interest. You then look at your weaknesses, your areas for development, and how you can turn those into strengths to make them work for you. But also you want to think about, well, what opportunities do I have that I can enhance myself, I can develop myself, I can improve myself. Then you look at, well, what's going to prevent me from doing that? So that's where the threats come in. What's going to stop me from utilizing those opportunities or utilizing those strengths or developing and improving on those weaknesses? So it's mapping that all out and then bringing that all together in a very clear development and action plan that will then serve your kind of journey forward.
Okay. Do you find that people really know what they know what their strengths are, but do they admit their weaknesses?
Yeah, so oftentimes one of the diagnostics I use is emotional intelligence, because some people are not necessarily self-aware about what it is that where they're lacking. And so I believe that doing some work on the emotional intelligence helps with some of that, but also I encourage them not only to reflect on themselves, but to ask people that they work with and engage with and communicate with, well, what do you see as my strengths? What do you see as areas where I could improve in our relationship or engagement or in the way I interact? So having that kind of 180 or 360 does help as well. So it's not just your vision about things.
Okay. Can you give us an example of a client that you helped through this process?
Yeah. So I had an individual, a lady who she had gone through a whole process of different jobs in her organization. And the organization was restructuring, and she found herself as a Black woman on the list for redundancies, basically. And out of that, I did work with her to look at where she was in her journey. And instead of taking that whole kind of redundancy thing as a negative thing, looking at it as an opportunity for her to start to focus on her strengths, her areas where she could make a better commitment and a better kind of impact on her whole area of
Right.
work. And
Right.
out of that, she has now built up her business and she is now self-employed and she's doing the thing that she loves the most through
Wonderful.
through the coaching that I've done. Yes.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. So the last chapter here is what's next. Tell us about that.
So next for me is launching. I'm a development consultant by day, and I coach by night, as we do or evening. So for me, my next step is about building my coaching program and making it into a business. So that then becomes full time. I work currently with women over 40, but I also work with Black women leaders as well. And so for me, the two areas that I would like to focus, because I am a woman over 40, but I'm also a very Black woman. So I think for me, I would like to work with both of those categories.
And so is that that's what's on the horizon for you right now?
Yes.
Is it another book? Is it a business? Tell us about what you're going to do next.
Yes, so both actually, because what I'd like to do with my book is to update that with more recent with some more recent examples within that, and more up-to-date tips as well, because that came out last year, but even since then, 6 months later, I still have more ideas that I would like to do. So I would like to do that. But also setting up my own coaching business is what I'm working on at the moment.
Okay, all right. What's some encouraging words that you can say to women over 40? What can you say to them in my audience?
Yes. So for me, very simply, don't give up. Very simply, remind yourself that you have a lot to offer, that you have lived experience, and other people will learn from you. You can make a difference with the work that you do, whatever that niche is. You can make a difference. So before you can do that, I always say, you can't pour from an empty cup. So you have to make sure that you are topped up and filled first before you can give. You have to make sure that you grab all the opportunities that you can. And also it's not only about self-belief, because belief is one thing, but trusting yourself is another. So you need to trust yourself. You need to trust that you can do what you set out to do. Trust that you can put the work in, because oftentimes we tend to think, oh, well, it's too hard. But if you trust yourself, then you can achieve what it is that you set out to achieve.
Wonderful. That's really good. So how can we get in touch with you? How can we buy your book? Where are you on social media?
Yes. So I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, and I have the links that I can provide. My book is available on Amazon, so both amazon.com and amazon.co.uk. And it's available as an ebook as well as a paperback. Okay.
So are you on Twitter, Instagram?
Yes, I am on both Instagram and Twitter, but I spend a lot of time in Facebook and LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is my professional kind of space.
And absolutely.
I have a group on Facebook that I link into as well. That I work with.
And what's the name of the group?
It's the Becoming Confident Career Woman.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we really do appreciate you, Ruth, for being here. Thanks for sharing about your book. Audience, please grab a copy of this on Amazon. Also, look up Ruth and find her on LinkedIn. Ruth, Heron. Look her up. She is on LinkedIn. Ask her any questions you have about, being in a career after 40, because that is a new thing that's going on now. It's happening.
Yeah.
Women are leaving their jobs of 20 years or more and wanting to do something, and it's in their late 40s and 50s. So take these tips. These are very easy and simple tips. And a lot of it is about you. It's a lot about
It
you.
is. Yeah.
It's a lot about you. So audience, get your copy today. I promise you, you will not be upset. You will not, this is money's worth. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
And
so
this
much for
brings us
having
to the
me.
end. You're welcome. This brings us to the end of our show. And we want to thank the audience for being here, because they could be anywhere else, but we want to thank you for being here right with us right now. And my name is Edna White, who is your host, and Ruth Heron, who is our guest. We're saying goodbye to you for now.